The mecca for many hikers and hill walkers is to be striding along a high mountain ridge with a sea of clouds below you during a temperature inversion. And when the forecast suggested that the highest peaks in Scotland would be above the temperature inversion, I couldn't help myself, so I headed out and headed for the 10th highest peak in Scotland. An early start had seen me arriving first at the car park, and I soon set about getting my gear ready for the day ahead and set off up the path, really looking forward to the day ahead and hoping that I'd get above the cloud. I'm on my way up a mountain in Perthshire, and it's the 10th highest mountain in Scotland. I think it sits at about, I don't know, 1130 metres, something like that. In old money, it's actually just under the height of 4,000 feet, but more of that later. I've parked the car down at the car park. It's late autumn. I left the car about 7ish, drove up the A9, cut off at Dunkeld, through Aberfeldy, along the loch, and then up to the car park. And the really good thing about this hill, if you don't like too much exercise, is the car park sits at an elevation, I don't know, about 450 metres, so you're starting quite high up the hill. Anyway, the reason that I got up early today was there was a chance in the forecast for an inversion, and I was really hoping that I'd get above the cloud. Now you can see some cloud behind me, but if I spin round to where I'm going, over my shoulder there, you can see Ben Glass. That's the Munro on the way to Ben Lors, which is the hill I'm doing. And the wind's quite high. You can see the cloud whistling over the top of Ben Glass. I don't think I'm going to get above it. I think it's just a bit windy. I think it's blown that cloud up and over the top. So anyway, I'm going to head up, over, and then back down this glen here. It's a relatively short day, but it's just nice to be out. So far so good. Let's just keep our fingers crossed. You never know, we might get a wee peaky above the clouds. Let's go! The path up Ben Glass and Ben Lors is well constructed, and I set about heading up it, and I was soon reaching the ridgeline where the wind hit me, and boy was it windy. It was gale force winds, and the wind was whipping the cloud up and over the summit at this point. I really wasn't expecting too much. How much of this you'll hear, it's very windy, and it's the clouds skidding past. Great conditions for potentially a Brocken Spectre, but there's still hope. Might get inversion, but who knows? A steepening in the ridge allowed some shelter, and I stopped here to get layered up. It was blooming cold. Although the air temperature probably wasn't below freezing, the wind was really biting and going right through me, so I put the hard shell on, an extra couple of layers, and got cracked on. Well, up I went, and the higher I got, the more promising it became, and the sun came out, and there was a real chance that I was going to get above the clouds. I was really excited. Although it was still really windy, the sun was starting to shine through, and things were looking promising as I approached the summit of the first Munro, Ben Glass. I'm on the summit of Ben Glass. Look at this! Woo! Just what I was hoping for. Thank you very much, weather forecast. How dare I say you weren't going to be right, but this is just fabulous. Look at this, a sea of clouds. The only peaks that are sticking out that I can see are Ben More and Sabinian. I think I'm heading over that way tomorrow, but we'll see. But look, wait till I go around here. See my target. Ben Lors is over my shoulder, and the mist just just a little cairn here at the top of Ben Glass. The real star of the show is Ben Lors, and it looks fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So yeah, I'm going to hang about here for a minute or two, and then get cracked on. I'm going to see if I can get my Brocken Spectre on camera. But just hold on, there's a big bank of cloud coming up below me here. I don't know if you can make it out just here, so if that hits me, the sun, my shadow will hopefully cast my Spectre behind me. Let's have a look and see what happens. Not too sure if it's going to work or not, to be honest with you. Just see me around about there. I don't know if you can make out in the camera. Probably not. There we go, look at that. Absolutely glorious. Woohoo! Right. Time to say bye to the Brocken and get cracked down here. After enjoying the summit of Ben Glass, it was soon time to get going and headed for Ben Lors. At 1214 metres, it is a pretty high mountain, and I still had a few hundred metres to head up to the top of it. But as I descended, I was followed by my Brocken Spectre and the glories to my left as my shadow was cast on the clouds. It was absolutely brilliant. A couple of hours after leaving my car, I found myself taking the last few footsteps, and I was soon touching the trig point of the summit of Ben Lors, the highest mountain in Perthshire. Although it was blowing a hoolie, the views were still absolutely incredible, and the glories and my Spectre were still following me right to the summit. I spent quite a bit of time just enjoying the views. Well, it's the top of Perthshire now. I'm hoping you can hear me because it's really breezy, but it's just absolutely lovely. I'll go up onto the summit here and do a wee panorama so you can see. Up we go. Whoa, brilliant, see we're above the cloud. Go around this way. It's just fabulous, and there was a Brocken Spectre over there a wee while ago. But I'm just going to drop down out of the wind so you can get a better sound hopefully. Oh, it's breezy. Let's just go over here a wee bit. Maybe get out of the wind. So yeah, I didn't think this was going to happen. I honestly didn't think we were going to get the inversion today, but the forecast was right. It's a bit windier than the usual inversion forecast. Usually it's a nice settled spell and the cold air drops, but I'm not complaining, the views are just brilliant. I'll maybe try and get the Brocken in a minute again. If it comes, I'll just stand up and see if we can see it, but yeah, so far so good. Anyway, this summit is the highest summit in Perthshire, and as I said before, it's just underneath the 4,000 foot mark. That's in old money, not meters. And oh, there's a Brocken coming. Hold on, I'll come back to the story. Let's see if you can see it behind me. You can see it behind me there. It's forming. Nice Brocken Spectre. It was a bit stronger early on, but this absolutely, what a day! What a day! Fabulous. This big bank of clouds over now should cast a nice canvas for my shadow. There we go, that's it showing now. You might be able to see it a bit better now. I'm going to cast it around. I'll wave to it. See if you can see me. Can we get down here a wee bit again? Yeah, so it's just underneath the 4,000. Round this way might be better. 4,000 foot mark. And what happened in the 1800s, I think it was the 1870s, that was a real magical figure. And there was a chap called Malcolm Ferguson, I think his name was, him and his pals came up here to build a big cairn to try and get it over the 4,000 foot mark. And apparently they almost managed it. It was a 15-foot pile of stones up here, which is fairly impressive given how sort of shapely this peak is. But it's not here anymore, but I think that trick point could do a few stones underneath it. It looks a bit wobbly, look at that. But yeah, that was the story about it being over 4,000 foot. Anyway, I'm going to shut up, put this camera to photo mode and take some pictures, Then I'm going to head back down because it is really, I don't know if you can hear it, you probably can, it's absolutely blowing the hoolie up here. I'm going to stay and enjoy it for a bit longer. It's a bit chilly as well in that wind. But, so, anyway, some photographs and then let's go back down. Woohoo! Being the first person on the mountain also meant that I had the summit to myself for quite some time, and it was a real pull having to leave it with these magnificent views, but I still needed to get down, and as opposed to heading down into the glen which I'd originally planned to do, I headed back over Ben Glass. Why wouldn't you when the weather was like this? Well, you might notice I'm actually heading back now. I'm heading back into the clouds. I'm going to go back up and over Ben Glass. I just don't see the point of heading down into the glen. But, so, yeah, time to get cracked on. I think I'm going to be back in the car for about 10:30, 11. And you can see now the mist's starting to envelop me, but I might get some more Brocken Spectres. Right, less talking. Let's get talking. Right, let's go. So back up over the top of Ben Glass I went, and I was right, my Brocken Spectre and the glories followed me down the hill. The Brocken Spectre, as I mentioned earlier on, is basically your own shadow cast on a canvas of cloud below you, quite often seen on mountain ridges when you're above the cloud and the sun's shining your shadow onto the cloud below. Accompanying your Spectre you often see the glories, which is the circular halo or rainbow which sort of goes around your head or your shadow, which is a fantastic sight. Enjoying these spectacular conditions as I strode across the ridge, I soon had to descend into the clag as I headed homewards and back to the car.